Welcome to a new French lesson. Today we are going to be looking at numbers in French. Les nombres. Les nombres. Pay attention to my pronunciation. Take note on how I pronounce the words. I will try my very best to pronounce the words as slowly as possible so that you can get the right pronunciation. Okay? For practice, try to pronounce the words after me. Okay? So that you will get used to saying the words and rolling the letters in your mouth. All right? If you're ready, let's begin. Les nombres. As in English, you have 0 to 10. Now, how do you say this in French? Read after me or listen while I read. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I am going to help you, like I did in lesson 3, by writing a word here, which should only help you to pronounce the French word, okay? Let's start with this one here. 0, okay? 0. Now, I cannot find a word that can help you to pronounce 0, so you would have to just go by my pronunciation, okay? Same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, this is an upside down E, meaning that this E is almost silent. 4, 5, 5. Now, if you put a G here, you will get the pronunciation correct. 5. This one here is 6. Sis, like sister. Sis. The next one is 7. 7. This is wheat. Wheat. This is 9. 9. And the last one is 10. 10. Okay? Let's read again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got it? Let's move on. Now we're going to bigger numbers, okay? Like in English, you have 1 and 1, which is 11. But how do you say this in French? Okay? 11 in French is 11. 11. This one here is 12. 12. This one is 13. 13. This one is 14. 14. This is 15. 15. This is 16. 16. This number 17 is 17. You can pronounce it. This will help you to pronounce it. 17. Okay, 17. And 18 is 18. 19 will be 19. And 20 is 20. 20. This G makes kind of like a nasal sound here. If you can pronounce this word in English, this one here, bring, the NG that you make, the sound that you make at the end, the nasalized sound at the end, bring, is the same way you're going to pronounce this N and G in number 20 in French. 20, 20, 20. Remember, the T is not pronounced. Okay? 20. Let's read again. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Great. Let's continue. Now, what do we have after 20 in French? Well, we have 21 in English. And take note of the spelling too. It's not only about pronunciation, it's about spelling. For those people who want to learn how to write French as well as speak it correctly, it's the spelling. You note that you have these dashes here. That's how they have to be. So if you're doing a French exercise and you're writing and you forget to put the dashes, well, you've got it wrong. It's not the same thing. Okay? Now, 21 in French is 21. Okay? 21. 21. 21. So you have this T here will link with this E here, and that's how you pronounce it, 21. To pronounce it slowly, it is 21. Okay? It just means 20 and 1. That's right. So 20 and 1. When you want to pronounce it correctly, 21. 21. 22, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And 30 in French is 30. 30. Okay? So, look here. 22 is just 20 and 2. 22. 22. See how easy that is? Let's read it again. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Let's move on. And after 30, what do we have? We have 40. And you can form the numbers in the same way we form numbers with 21. Okay, so you have 41. That will be 41. And you can have 51. 51 will be 51. 61 will be 61. 70. Now, 70. It seems similar, right, to 60. Okay, that's the nice thing about French. They don't want to stress people up. Okay, they say if we have 60 here and we add this here, which is 10, well, it's going to be 70. So why don't we do that, says the French. And so they call this number here 70. 60, 10. 70. Okay? Now, how are you going to say 71? Well, interesting, isn't it? Well, you are going to say soixante, not 61. If you say 61, you're actually saying 61, right? So for 70 or 71, you are going to say 71. They make it easy. 60 and 11 is equals to 71. Ah, they are smart, French, because if you do the mathematics, it's actually 71. So, 71 in French is 71, right? 80 would be 80. 80. 80. All right? So you have 4 and 20, and they call it 80. They call it 80. All right? Now, why do they call this 80? Think about it for a minute. 80, 4, 20. Okay? 4 20s. How many 20s do you need to make 80? There are 4, right? 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20 is 80. The French are smart. And that's why they would say 80 for 80. Now, 81 would be 81. 81. Okay? Think about it. If we come back to 60 here, this guy, 60 here, let's see 60 as a little brother. And then you have 70 here, they add 10, they call it 70, okay? Let's call it the big brother. But 80, 80 here, and 81 here, well, 80 is the little brother. And so 80 doesn't have any problem to add 1 to it, and you call it 81. So you have 81. So 80 and 1. Easy peasy, right? But how do you call its big brother here? 90. Okay? Well, you do the same thing as 70. Okay? So it's going to be 80, 80, and 10, which if you do the math, 80 plus 10 is 90. All right? 90, 90 in French. 90. All right? Now, 91 would be the same thing as here, as we did here. It is simply 80 and 11. Okay? 91. All right? 80 plus 11 is 91. Right? Okay. Let us clear the screen for a bit and read. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 90, 91. Okay, you got it? Let's move on. We are continuing with our 91, which we saw here, or which we saw in the previous slide. And we have all the ways of writing the numbers in French, and I am going to read the numbers, okay, in words. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. That's 100. Okay? So to recap, where you have 70, okay, which is 70, okay, if you're writing French and if you write 200 without an S, well, your teacher's going to mark it wrong. All right, take note. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. All you need to do is write the number 4 or say the number 4 and you add 100 to it. Just like we put 2 here and 100, 3 and 100. Well, this one here, well, how do you say this? This will be 1000. There's no 1100. Well, in this case, this is simply 1000, 1000 in French. All right? You're following so far? Let's move on. Bigger numbers, even bigger numbers. All right? We saw this one and we said it was 1000 for 1000. And the same rule for 100 applies. You just add 2 and 1000 and you have 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, etc., etc. Now this one is what? You have a 10 here and you have the 3 zeros here. 1, 2, 3, which symbolizes, which means that this is 1000. Okay? This is 10. How do you say 10 in French? 10. Okay? 10,000. That's how you say this number in French. What about this one here? Okay? This is 1, 2 zeros, which lets us know that this is 100, and 100 in French is 100. Okay? And 1, 2, 3 zeros, which indicates 1000. Okay? So this would be 100,000, 100,000 in English. Now this you know in English. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. Okay? Well, this has an entirely different name, very similar to English. 1,000,000 in French. Got it? Was that fun? All right. That brings us to the end of our video, to the end of this lesson for today. I hope you had fun with the numbers. It might be a little overwhelming at the beginning. Just go back and watch the video as many times as possible. Merci et au revoir.